Hello, and welcome to this LinkedIn Live session. We are broadcasting live from Industrial Transformation Asia Pacific 2024. My name is Leong. I'm a partner in Deloitte Consulting and the Southeast Asia lead for smart manufacturing. I have two guest speakers with me today, and today we'll be diving to the topic of operational excellence in smart manufacturing. So without further ado, I'd like you to introduce yourselves, please.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Subbu. I'm a partner with Deloitte India, helping clients with their smart manufacturing strategy as well as implementation projects.
Good afternoon, I'm Pascal Bergougnou. I work for AWS. I belong to the business unit vertical, which is focusing on automotive and manufacturing industries. I am based in Singapore, covering APJ, and so I help companies, customers to digitally transform their operations.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. So let's just dive right into it. I think first, a bit of context setting. We know that smart manufacturing has increasingly become an operational priority for many of our companies that we talk to in ITAP. But we know there's always two sides to every story. For companies who have started this journey, they typically struggle to think about how they can sustainably implement these kind of solutions and platforms. Just wanted to ask a broad question around what are you seeing and hearing in the market today around Asia Pacific?
Well, let me take this one. So obviously we are at ITAP now, and the theme is AI-powered manufacturing for a sustainable future. So I do believe that manufacturing has become a high-tech topic, where AI, ML, industrial IoT, and many other high-tech technologies are being implemented. There is a lot of things happening. Companies realize that they need to digitally transform their operations. The products now are also connected products, which means that there is a closed loop from the product in the field to the manufacturing. So the manufacturing companies have to become more agile, flexible in order to basically adapt to the customer needs. They have to digitally execute their processes. Sustainability is also becoming a critical parameter, to improve ESG metrics for energy optimization, reduction of waste. And for all of that, basically, data is really a key enabler. And as of today, a lot of manufacturing companies have a lot of data. Manufacturing is the field which is generating the most data, but 85% of the data at the shop floor is not used. And the data that is being used is, in most cases, not used very optimally. So there is a lot of room for improvement.
So to add to what Pascal just said, I think what we're also hearing a lot from clients is the fact that a couple of years ago, there were a lot of POCs and pilots which are being done in isolation. But given the experience that people have had with these POCs and pilots, now there is a realization that this is something which has to be driven top down. And there is a much more holistic approach to digital transformation that is coming in, and not just looking at certain silos within the manufacturing organization.
Thank you. Nowadays, I think just picking up an important point, a lot of investment is being put into smart manufacturing for our clients. However, we know that given potentially trying economic times, these investments can be quite large, and there's a need for justification around why am I putting this much money into these technologies and these solutions. Just for our benefit, what are some of the big gains that can be seen through the implementation of smart manufacturing technologies?
So I think if you look at manufacturing as a sector, there are primarily three main areas that manufacturers look at for any technologies that they want to adopt. Obviously, reduction in the conversion cost, improving product quality, or sustainability, as Pascal said. That is one more area where people are very interested. And then obviously, when you look at the assets that are used in manufacturing, how do you maximize the uptime of the assets or the utilization of those assets? So those are some of the critical areas which could be benefited with the adoption of these technologies. And as I said earlier, a lot of the pilots were carried out in these areas. And now there's a top-down approach where even at the board level, people are looking at initiatives that could be driven with these business objectives in mind, and the investments are getting allocated basis these decisions.
Yeah, maybe to build up on a bit on what Subbu just said. Typical use cases or interests we see from manufacturers will be around quality. Obviously, to reduce the cost of quality. So, for example, computer vision for quality insights, it's a common topic, to leverage AI, ML for quality improvement, and of course, then reducing the cost of repair. Another topic, it's about maintenance and moving into predictive maintenance. So that's also a very important domain. OEE, overall equipment efficiency, monitoring and visualization, that's also a very important one. Ultimately, holistically, companies want to achieve the digital twin, Industry 4.0. But obviously, you don't achieve the digital twin heads-on, right? Basically, you need to be able first to do some OEE measurement, visibility, predictive maintenance, improve the quality, and so on. So all these use cases are kind of helping to build moving towards the smart factory, the Industry 4.0 benefits.
No, thank you. And at least from my side, when we see companies do put forward these business cases, all these are really critical operational levers you have to show improvement on. But how do you then take the next step and translate that to actual dollars and cents to really justify that business case is the last mile you have to go to, I think, which is really important. No, thank you. I think both of you mentioned now use case space. And a lot of companies typically go in with a journey of trying different use cases. I think the challenge that at least we've seen is with these growing ambitions of Smart Factory, as you adopt this kind of use case base, later on with growing complexity of different product lines, different business units, different geographies, how do you then stitch together the IT, OT, and data layer together, converge it, integrate it, make some sense of it? And that becomes really challenging when companies are really taking a use case-based approach. From your perspective, what are some of the strategies or best practices as companies now start to think about converging and integrating across this complicated layer?
Yeah, I was just talking about Industry 4.0. Everybody's talking about Industry 4.0 here. So either you call it, Industry 4.0 or Smart Factory, or now some companies call it Industrial Metaverse. It's basically the same topic, but it's not a new topic. We've been talking about Industry 4.0 Smart Factory for years. And so actually the data shows that about 70% of the companies have started their digital manufacturing journey, but actually only 30% of them can see the benefits of it. And one of the reasons is that many companies are stuck in what we call a pilot purgatory. Basically, they move from proof of concept to proof of concept, but they have difficulties to scale it. And so one of the reasons is because obviously there is an intricate complexity of the system. There is no standard framework to do this. And also data is very siloed. So this is why it's very important basically to start with the use case, but not to think only about the use case, but really to think about the digitalization journey long term, to start small, think big, and to be able to scale. And so for that, it's necessary to have data to make it accessible, interoperable, integrated across IT and OT. And so to have a unified model governance basically helps to develop more use cases, but also to have data sources added in the context of the use cases.
So as you rightly said, manufacturing plants have been built over a period of time. They are different legacies, different technologies used in each of these plants. Now getting a unified view of what is there in each of your plants, I think that is something which is the first step in preparing a data acquisition strategy for your entire organization. In many cases, we find that because people start with silos, they only have a view of a certain area of a plant or at max one plant. But if you look at an entire organization, you have, let's say, 5 plants, 6 plants. Getting that unified view in terms of where your assets are, what kind of technologies do they have, and what is the mechanism by which data could be extracted from each of your assets or lines. That is something which is very important. There are, of course, ways and means to do it, but having that vision of having a unified data layer at the manufacturing level and then pushing that data to your enterprise data lake or your manufacturing data lake, that is something which should be the primary goal in terms of the first step for any kind of transformation that we need to have on the manufacturing side.
No, fully agree, gentlemen. And I think, Suba, you mentioned it earlier, before you even embark on this journey, taking a step back, understanding what your vision, your aspiration is, coming up with a holistic digital transformation plan, how do you want to approach this, and then embarking on trying, failing on specific use cases, try again. I think that's really the best way forward for most companies as they embark on this journey.
And if I may add on this, is that once you have this unified platform, of course, the benefit, because obviously we talk a lot about generative AI. And so to be able to leverage generative AI, then you need to have really data which is contextualized, data which is obviously accessible, but also which is made meaningful and then valuable. And then you can run multimodal generative AI, on top of this data. So basically, without doing this beforehand, you cannot really leverage generative AI benefits.
And what we see a lot of clients aspire for, right? The initial conversation would be, I want to do predictive maintenance, or I want to have model-based optimization of my process, or I want to improve my yield. The realization that all of that is driven by contextualized data is something which needs a lot of education still. There are clients, when we interact with them, they think this is very easy to do given the fact that they have data in the logbooks which are there in the plant. They have data in the SCADA databases. They have data in, let's say, the DCS systems. But getting all of that together and contextualizing them in a unified way, that is what takes a lot of effort. And that is where I think a lot of clients also stumble. They have difficulties there, and then the initiative just stops. But we all need to realize that this is a marathon that needs to be run. It's not a 100 meters dash, and it takes effort to reach the goals that we aspire for.
So we talk a lot about use cases, and there's a vast ecosystem of potential solutions and platforms. If you just walk around the AWS Deloitte booth, you'll see there's so many different opportunities and potential for companies. Given this vast ecosystem, any guidance in terms of what are kind of the smart, no regret plays? Where do you start?
Well, I think the first advice will be to start from the business, basically to a status of your business and where are your pains, challenges, and really to define business objectives. And basically, Amazon way to work backwards, so business backward, and really not like data forward or technology forward. And so based on this business objective, to identify which use cases are relevant, and then working backwards, then to identify which data will be required, and then really to start by building a strong digital foundation with connectivity, cloud infrastructure, data management platforms, and then to work on a proof of concept, a pilot, and then by leveraging what we just said about to work on a unified platform and to contextualize the data, IT, OT, and engineering data, to be able to show the quick value, and then moving from a proof of concept to really proof of scaling. And I think also what is very important is to, there is no solution out of the box. Innovation mindset in the organization. And for that, management needs to allow experimentation, fail fast, of course, with measured risk, but basically to experiment all these technologies together. Those are, I believe, the key for time to value in order to show the benefits and then to scale across assembly lines, across plants worldwide.
So I think, in my opinion, where I have seen a lot of clients get success is one where there is a unified vision in terms of where they want to go. And the pilots that are chosen or the use cases that are chosen, they are the first step in that vision. So building the vision, articulating the vision across the organization, I think that is something which needs to be done. In many cases, while the vision is there, the articulation is not enough. Adoption within the organization itself is not there. So those are some of the pitfalls that organizations need to avoid. From a technology standpoint, there are multiple providers, there are multiple accelerators, tools. But I think from a success perspective, having a partner who can work with you across the journey, right from visioning to design, implementation, and operate, I think that is something which is very critical when you choose your partners across this journey. And quite a few cases, we've had clients who have done pilots, who have failed in those pilots for whatever reason. And then they have come to us where when we analyze the situation, we understand that those pilots were even approved by the higher management, right? It's all a local kind of a pilot. So I think those things need to be avoided, and having a clear view in terms of how we reach from where we are today to where we aspire to be. Having that roadmap in place and then tracking progress is something which is very critical on this journey.
Fully agree. I think what I also see a lot is a very reactive mindset from clients. Usually when they're trying different use cases, it's in reaction to a very specific pain point they're trying to solve for. So they'll come and say, oh, I've got a problem with maintenance, so let's find something to fix that. I've got an issue with quality, let's go in and fix that. It's very industry specific, it's very company specific, and it's also a very reactive mindset that gets into this spiral of then later, how do I stitch all this together? I think that's quite dangerous, at least for companies who fall into this trap. So thank you, gentlemen. Maybe last question, Pascal, you had mentioned generative AI, and a lot of the buzz around ITAP is around generative AI is the next frontier. How do you then extend into that? Any thoughts, please, from your side?
Well, so today, I mean, on the booth, we have 3 demos only for generative AI and for different use cases. So definitely, the number of use cases with generative AI in manufacturing is increasing with our customers. Research study shows that the main pain point of manufacturing today, it's the skill gap. Is that a lot of skillful resources are going to retire, and then there is a number of young graduates which are joining the companies, and basically a lot of knowledge is going to disappear. So actually, generative AI, for example, for that specific challenge, could be very, very beneficial, where you can leveraging generative AI, capture the knowledge, for example, by interviewing skilled resources and transcribe that into documents. Of course, you can also document or leverage the existing manual, so that basically the new employees can tap into this knowledge in a very natural way. We see also a lot of generative AI use cases around predictive maintenance. We are showing here, for example, a case for a safety worker, where basically there is a video camera recording in a plant, and then automatically the system is transcribing what it sees, and so that can reveal some hazardous situations. So really, we are really at the beginning of generative AI, but we see a significant increase of number of use cases. So the last number I have in mind was 80, and obviously we are still discovering new use cases, I would say, on a daily basis.
So as far as Gen AI is concerned, I think this is something which has a lot of interest in clients. We have also come across clients who are looking at Gen AI for product design, new product design, right? That's a completely new area which is being explored. And the basis for all of this is, of course, having the right data elements contextualized and available for you to infer. So as Pascal said, this is just the start as far as Gen AI is concerned. And I'm sure we'll come up with new use cases as we go along.
If I may add, there is also generative AI on business intelligence, or generative business intelligence. And also one of the use cases we see, it's really, what we discussed before about the IT-OT convergence is really for the operator. So now to contextualize this data in order to have data-driven insights and to act on it. Then the other side is more for the plant management, is to be able basically to have a visualization with the dashboards. And what we see is that by leveraging generative AI, and because you have valuable data that has been contextualized, then basically you can generate a reporting dashboard very, very quickly. You can ask natural questions about how the business is doing, and you can even ask for a data story. So for the C-level, basically a lot of value as well. And again, based on the fact that the data has been made valuable upstream.
All right, Subu, Pascal, thank you so much for those insights.
Thank you, Tristan.
Again, on operational excellence and smart manufacturing. We'd like to again thank the audience for tuning in. Just to remind you, this link and this feed can be accessed live, can be accessed again if you need to. And again, the three of us would like to thank you joining you from ITAP 2024. Have a great day ahead. Thank you.